Bruce Lee had to create Jeet Kune Do because he didn't get far enough in Wing Chun in order to understand the art and use it effectively. You can't really learn Jeet Kune Do without learning Wing Chun. If Bruce dropped Wing Chun, why should I pick it up? Chi Sao is out. You'll see and you'll hear all of the above discussions and more going on online. We will take a look at what aspects of Wing Chun, some aspects of Wing Chun that play an indispensable role in delivering a deep understanding of Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. Hello everyone, this is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, and welcome to the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast number 103. This is the one about Jeet Kune Do versus Wing Chun. So as you're logging in, as many of you are doing, if you would be kind enough to say where you're logging in from and hit the like button, and feel free to continue doing so throughout the broadcast. All right, so like I just illustrated, as if Jeet Kune Do by itself didn't have enough problems, with the current popularity of the Yip Man movies, I guess, there's another controversial debate over the role that played by Wing Chun in Bruce Lee's development and also in the development of Jeet Kune Do. So one of the most interesting observations that I've heard, and I heard it from Adam Chan in Vancouver, I think, concerning this whole Jeet Kune Do versus Wing Chun discussion, is that Wing Chun is an art that is taught or that is learned backwards. In other words, all the important stuff is taught up front in the Sunam Dao form. So when I heard that, I thought, well, if that's true, then all those who are of the opinion that Bruce Lee didn't get too far in Wing Chun, they're not going to be able to appreciate that that is probably that's perhaps how he was able to become proficient in fighting so quickly, and it's possibly how his penchant for streamlining, let's call it, as he did later on in Jeet Kune Do, that was probably born out of the fact that Wing Chun itself, in comparison to other kind of Kung Fu styles of the time, contemporaneous Kung Fu styles, Wing Chun itself was already pretty streamlined. It's reported that in Hong Kong, Bruce Lee had a lot of success using Wing Chun versus the other Kung Fu systems, and even against like high school boxers. But when he got to the US, probably he didn't encounter too many other rooftop Kung Fu stylists, and he started to recognize some limitations in his Wing Chun. So that what his Seattle students and even the Oakland students got was a drastically modified version of Wing Chun, which I believe is a term that he used for it initially before he started using the term Junfan Kung Fu. But I don't think that Bruce Lee rejected ideas like the preservation of center line, the concept of simultaneous offense and defense, or the idea of economy of motion, all of which are of primary importance in Wing Chun. In Sifu Asano's book, the internationally famous Jeet Kune Do Art and Philosophy, right up in the front on page 19 in the chapter titled Wing Chun, the Nucleus, it says, and it's kind of a direct quote of Bruce Lee's, "I would like to stress the fact that even though my present style is more totally alive and efficient, I owe my achievement to my previous training in the Wing Chun style, a great style." Enough said, right? Okay, so now the Chi Sao thing. So some people say that Bruce Lee told people that Chi Sao is out. So assuming that he did say that, isn't that somewhat similar to when he said kata is useless? In other words, he said that about kata after he had practiced and trained many, many forms, and some people said he was actually very, very good at Kung Fu forms. So comparatively speaking, if he said that about Chi Sao, didn't he say that about Chi Sao after having done a lot of Chi Sao? do you think that somebody like me, that I could come in at the end and develop along the same lines that Bruce Lee developed without going through what he went through, even if just for a time, right? So think on that thing. It's been said that a lot of people do not understand the purpose of Chisao. So some think of it as like a game of tag or gotcha, as my friend Jason Corral says, a game that you're supposed to win at. And then some say that other people seem to think that Chisao is real fighting. As usual, the answer lies somewhere in between, as usually happens, somewhere in the answer to the question, how are you using the drill? How are you using the training method? Because that's what Chisao is. It is a method of training. You use it to develop other things, not just as a fixed pattern, right? Or as a thing within itself. So I remember when we first started training, when we trained Wing Chun with Nino Bernardo, and it was with him, that was the first time I saw, I think, what they call like push and pull Chisao. And I thought, well, geez, that's a different approach from anything that I had seen before, even though it stayed within the structure of Wing Chun. So Jason Corral, that I just referenced, Jason says that one of the major attributes developed from Chisao is control, but not just of your opponent, control of your opponent, but also control of yourself. In terms of, and he's a very, very strong advocate of using Chisao as a developmental tool. So when you train your Wing Chun, don't train it as Wing Chun versus Wing Chun. Don't train it in a dead pattern. Train your Wing Chun versus other things. You're not supposed to, well, I'm talking to the JKD people here, right? You're not supposed to become a Wing Chun expert. If you're training Wing Chun for Wing Chun, then disregard what I'm saying, right? But JKD people are not trying to become Wing Chun experts. Remember this, right? This is what Bruce Lee said. Learn to approximate the reality of the situation. A lot of people apparently never heard this, or if they did hear it, they never understood it, and so they do not keep it in mind as a major guiding principle in their JKD training. One reality of today is that you're very likely to encounter someone who thinks he's like a BJJ expert, or has even trained in MMA type material. You have to be ready for it. So train your Wing Chun, but train it against a boxer, train it against a kickboxer, train it against a grappler. And against the grappler, train it especially in the before and the during aspects, or the before and the during stages of his attack, if you understand what I mean by that. All right, so in summation, if you're going to train Wing Chun in order to enhance your Jeet Kune Do, then you better make sure you train it the way Bruce Lee trained it. Like most things involved in Jeet Kune Do, always keep this in mind. Know why you're going into a thing before you go into it. Know what it is that you want to get out of it, right? In essence, begin with the end in mind. Okay? All right, that's it for today. Enough preaching. Feel free to share, like, and comment. Ask questions if you want, and I'll review everything after posting. Sign up for notifications for when we go live here on Facebook, and also when subscribe over on the YouTube for the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast, for the Jeet Kune Do dialogues, and for the FMA files. And when you subscribe, please hit the notification bell over there as well. Follow me on Twitter at Dwight Woods, and on Instagram at Dwight D Woods. ilovejeetkunዶ.com quick skill series volume 1 is still available. Coming up on Friday, what is Friday? November 22nd, it will be episode 100 of the Jeet Kune Do dialogues with none other than my good friend Burton Richardson of JKD Unlimited, in what will be known as the counter for counter call. right? And you'll have to check in to see what that is all about. So that's coming up on Friday, November 22nd at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Today's Navy Blue Day. I didn't do all the laundry, so I had to bust out old school for you, right? And I'll see some of you on Friday for the Jeet Kune Do Dialogues. The rest of you I'll see back here next time for another issue of the I Love Jeet Kune Do broadcast. This is Dwight Woods, the Jeet Kune Do Rebel, signing off. You guys enjoy the rest of your evening. Take care.